Hey people, we at Pop's house. We got his Christmas stuff up. And this is the garage. That's where we was at that day we worked on that truck. He used to pout it, flame pout it. See, this is a picture of his airport he used to own back in the day. Yeah, that's his first plane, that's his plane he flew. He's flying that plane. Know how he got that picture, but they did. They got her airport like New Year they done. And but Pops he used to like done this. And this is his car, people. Everybody's car fans, all original people. Nice cars, nice cars. But Pop's got all kind of stuff. He got boats. Man got everything. But he told me I make videos. But the awesome thing about the whole situation, I get to hang out with this dude all the day. And you got a pretty pond, lakes. Look out here, the view out here. Look at the view of this, people. Look at the view now. And you got some more things right down here. Down across the pond, I'll show you here. Beautiful ducks. Wax, crank. Look beautiful view. Look at the view. Look at the view on that. You guys imagine living out here in this part of the country. This is still Jamestown. This is over here on the beautiful. How beautiful that is. Beautiful. Look at them geese of bank, all kinds of them. Beautiful geese. I don't know if you guys can see them or not. There's a whole herd of them over there. You guys really pay attention, you maybe see them. All kinds of ducks and stuff over there. But this is Pop's house. This is where we're walking that truck at. We're putting Christmas stuff up and hanging the Christmas lights and stuff like that. Just being a neighbor, helping people out. We've been putting stuff up. But here he comes, here's Pop is. And we got some Nancy McDonald food.
Want to heat it?
Nah.
I went in there. She's gonna be here to clean the house in a little bit. Let's go this way. Let's sit down. Oh. Well, it's moving.
Yeah, we got a lot done today.
Huh?
We got quite a bit done, didn't we?
I can't hear you.
I said we got quite a bit done.
Yeah. I'm gonna close the door. Keep it out.
All right.
You know, honestly, there's more stuff down there than I thought it was. More leaves.
Right.
I didn't think there was that many down. What?
How long you flew plane, Pop? How long you do that business stuff on them planes?
Do what?
How long you flew plane in your life? How long you done that in your life? Flying plane. How long you went to school and stuff for that?
You done what?
How long you been to school on planes and stuff? How long you got to stay in school over it? When you flew planes and stuff.
Yeah.
How long you got to stay in school to learn all that stuff? How long you got to stay in school to learn all that? To remember all them buttons and...
I did it. I went to school for 4 years. Worked just to work on different things.
Right.
But if you can find you a mechanic, you know, work with him for 2 years, he can sign you off and you can take a test.
Right.
Every one of them, I had to take 5 tests in order to do that. In order to be.
Right.
Because you do it, you got to write it in a book and put your name and number in.
Right.
I'll show you sometime when we got time what it involves. I got books I'm gonna be throwing away in a little bit. I mean, log books that I want to destroy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of planes that I did work on.
Right.
But I think I'm gonna pass the day that they gonna do anything with me now.
I just wondered.
This may be good if you want.
No, I got Eric's gonna fill me up,
Huh?
Pop. Eric's gonna fill me up with you in this bag.
All right. No, sometime when we got time, I'll sit down and show you what was involved. But I mean, I've got a total of about 50 years of working on them. Big ones and little ones. 747s,
Uh-huh.
727s, 777s, 737s, 310s. I'm pretty well, I was qualified on all of them. But I'm sure glad I was, because it took care of me. And that includes 25 years of actual working for the FAA.
Mhm.
You know, checking airplanes.
Right.
I got 24 years and 25 and 6 months or 5 months. Besides my other work, I own those aviation. Well, you said the years it's on it
Mm-hmm.
for 16 years. And I run businesses like that. I mean, of mine. I worked hard in my life, son. I had to.
Especially on planes you did.
Huh?
Especially on big old planes like that.
Well, see, my father was born a rich man. And all my education and everything, I had to work at night and go to school in the day. And I had 3 kids. And Peggy had to work to have to pay our bills.
Yeah, but
Now,
Peggy
this was back in 63, 64, back in those years. I
Mhm.
mean, when you worked, you didn't make much money. You got about $1.85 an hour. If you had the license, you got more, about $2.50. But in fact, I worked for Mistletoe Express, a billing clerk. At night, I'd go to school in the day, do the billing at night, home, you know, run the account and take packages,
Mhm.
and I would study at night for my lessons the next day. It hasn't been that easy. I've enjoyed it, but it hasn't been easy. Nothing. I wasn't lucky to be able to with a family that had a lot of money that could just pay to send me.
Right.
Well,
I make these videos because something ever happened, I can go back to these videos and watch it what we used to do years ago. Know what I'm saying?
yeah. But
I got videos.
that was a lot of work. Papa, I did a lot of work on those. But I did one thing, and I would like to say that, well, and you all like it. I would never do something halfway. If I got on a job, I finished it perfect.
Right.
As any job.
Right. You got to do it on
And
a
that's
job.
where you want when you get a reputation like that. I never did have to worry about work. I had all the work I could handle.
That's me. I got too much work to handle.
But these,
I like it to me.
I watched some of these mechanics that was haphazard and all.
Uh-huh.
They never did make it. I mean, they made it, but just made a living. But if you really wanted to make a living, you had to put yourself up here.
Right.
You had, in other words, like your goal has to be higher than right here.
Right.
If you do that, you will never have to worry.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's a shame. Aviation down to nothing. When I did, almost everybody that worked like with Caterpillar,
Uh-huh.
they owned airplanes like that, and somebody had to work on it.
Pretty cool.
But and Peggy worked in a business. Man, she worked hard. She she had office help,
Mm-hmm.
and she run it, and she was there every second. She could tell me exactly where my finances were. Because I'd go ahead and buy an airplane. Would want to buy an airplane. I'd go to her. I said, "Can we afford it?" She'd look. Said, "I don't know. I'm gonna have to go through the books." I mean, I'm telling an airplane $25,000 or something,
Or higher.
and but we managed to do it. She man, she could run that books and business. When I went there, she could run the business as good as I could, telling somebody what to do.
Right.
I tell you,
I bet Miss Peggy be harder.
she's pretty darn good,
I bet Miss Peggy be tough on a person.
huh?
I bet Miss Peggy be tough on a person. Miss Peggy be tough on you.
Huh?
Miss Peggy be tough on you.
What's what?
I said Miss Peggy be tough on you. Be a boss lady, she be tough.
Yeah. Oh, she knew what you wanted.
Right.
If somebody, it wasn't that she was, she knew what, because we had to do everything by regulation,
Right.
And she knew those as good as I did.
Probably better.
Hmm.
Probably better.
If somebody come in and wanted to do something,
Uh-huh.
just drinking for a bit. No, we're not going to do it. You're going to talk to her. I'd be on flying. I'll have to dig it out. I've got a thing on the bird surveys that I did.
Uh-huh.
They made write-ups in the papers on me. I'd fly 3 to 4 days a week just checking ducks, waterfowl.
Right.
I had an observer, and I'd have to be gone because he wouldn't fly with anybody but me. Unless I was sick, and he didn't do that but maybe 3 times in 7 years. I wound up on all logged. I got twice a minute, but I got 13,000 logged hours in different airplanes.
Right. They're mowing the wheat. No, they're getting it. They're moving. They were mowing the wheat no while.
Oh, is that what they're doing? But anyway,
well,
life has been good to us, even though Peggy passed away early. Not early. She was only 84. I'm 84.
you're the same. You're in her
got a
same.
lot of friends are not doing anything because they can't. And,
You're her same age, Agents.
huh?
You're her same age, Agents. You and Peggy the same age.
Yeah. 6 months different. My birthday was June, hers was in November. But we're both the same age. And we was married 64 years. August the 2nd, we had 64 years together.
64 years.
Huh?
That's a long time. My daddy and mom been married for 44 years.
I changed our business off. I mean, we were together.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That was us since we were teenagers.
Right.
We were teenagers dating and all.
Right.
I never did date maybe 2 or 3 other people, period, in my whole career.
Let me tell you one you picked.
We went to church together. Her father was a deacon. My father was a deacon. My grandfather was a deacon. We went to the same church. She was right here, and I was right here. My mom could go up to the 3rd floor of that big house, you see, and I could go look over to her house. We had a 400-acre farm. My father did, and his brothers,
Right.
But like I said, life has been good to me. If I pass away today, I'm happy. I've had good people. I've had a lot of most of my people just like you. They good work with me. We got along.
Right.
Even my men. I had one yesterday to call me. One of my first mechanics said I heard Peggy passed away, and how you? He's in Texas now. He went to be a big uh, jet pilot. He
Heck yeah.
called me yesterday. Said, Harold, I got your number, and I just wanted to talk to you, let you know, because I give him his start. He got his uh, license working, his mechanic's license. I signed him off to take a test.
Heck yeah. Oh,
And I hadn't talked to him for years. But he got my number and called me yesterday.
that was good, wasn't
I talked to him for an hour. But he was a skydiver. Had his wife. And they used to fly her to my Waddell Airport. But I've had good people. All them people. You're like you. You're good. I try to get along with everybody. I don't try to be.
it? Right. Pushy.
I never put myself up here on a pedestal and look down and give. I want to always be with people, just like you
Right.
be able to sit down and talk.
Right.
With you.
Right.
I didn't think to myself, hey, I came up a hard way. That's the way my father came up. And I know some people, and even these rich people. I mean, I worked on some people's planes. I mean, hundreds. Well, a couple of us I know had
Right.
some of them $1 million almost. I mean, they were rich. They would always come in and talk to me, and come into the hangar while I was working, and say, hey, I just want to come in to say hi to you. That's the way the people were. They treated me.
Right.
They treated me perfect.
People, he talking about these pictures on the wall. You know, all these pictures right here, 1977,
Oh, yeah.
1967, 1979.
And that's my first plane I owned, that Tri-Pacer.
Yeah,
Piper
right here.
Tri-Pacer. Uh-huh. That was the first plane I owned like that.
I'm gonna tell you something. This video I'm making, when your friend may know you and see you on the video, maybe he'll try to get in contact with you.
Huh?
So on his YouTube, it's all around the world. Somebody know you work from you on them planes. You never know. You on them video, they see you. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
It's all around the world.
Yeah.
It shows you all around the world. I know people always ask me the video, the pay me slave and stuff. They can't make it down here and video.
Oh.
Them people donate me money when we travel to do it. And I said, nope, I won't do it. Too long away, too risky.
And you got to realize, too, I had a lot of good breaks, too.
Right.
Just like when I went to work for the FAA. Head FAA guy here in Illinois.
Uh-huh.
He used to come to my business, and we'd go to lunch and talk, and we got to be just like we could say. He insisted that I go to work for the FAA. He says, "We need you, we want you." So I finally, with Peggy, we having gas, keep it up because I had two airports. I have to keep gas in both of them,
Mm-hmm.
And she got so aggravated trying to figure how much gas could one airport take, and that because it couldn't take a big tank up by itself. I'd have to go from one to the other. One day she got so fast. She said, "Those papers over there, where's those FAA papers?" I said, "They're on my desk." Okay. I didn't hear no more about it about 3 or 4 weeks later. She said, I got your application ready to sign. She filled it out and everything. I never put a word on it. She said, I'm tired of trying to run the business. I mean, we're doing fine. We're going, doing everything we want, but she said, I just don't like all this steady, because we was having to keep the airport open 7 days a week.
Right.
And I would always be there, try to be there or whatever all those days, because something come up, I wanted to be there to handle it. But she was she was so happy when I got rid of got rid of the airport and got everything settled. And you should have seen my, this is junk here.
Right.
But I had my engine thing. It was behind glass, air conditioned, uh, engine stands holding airplane engines. You would it look like Volkswagen engine,
Right.
bigger, but I did on an average of well, I would say a couple of years I did over 100 engines.
100 engine. That's a bunch of motors.
And when I said engine now, I'm talking about
Oh yeah, big.
$30,000 or something like that.
Right.
I mean, what it would cost.
We're not talking about little bitty motors. We're talking about engines twice the size, that more, but bigger.
But I didn't want to. The Lord has been good to me. That's who it was. He guided me. I didn't know anything about aviation.
And God showed you
the
the
only
way.
thing that happened, we had a doctor that used to come out to see my uncle and my father. He was a chiropractor, and he had an airplane. And we had a big fields, where they could land in. They'd keep a strip so he'd come in. He'd come in but once or twice a month, visit them. And I was about 6, 7 years old, and I always wanted to fly in an airplane, but he told me I was too small. Young. So I said, well, one of these days when I get old enough, I'm gonna fly. When I got my 17th birthday, I had a friend. We went to Lynchburg. I said, let's go to Preston Glen and see if we could get an airplane, rent an airplane. Yeah, okay. So we did. We went over there. We rented the plane that flew over our farm. It was about 35 miles from where we were. We flew over the farm and the mountains and looking at the mountains as you could. So, and I said, I'm going to do this one of these days. And when I went in the Army, I went in the infantry. I was in infantry, artillery, and quartermaster. I wasn't really happy with it. I'd made good rank. I was a sergeant. I went into this guy that worked at the airport, a control tower operator.
Right.
He says, he visited and we visited. He says, Harold, why don't you come over to the control tower and watch us control airplanes in, land them and take them off and all like that. He said, you just call me in. When I'm there, you just call and tell me I'm here. See if I'm there. I made 2 or 3 trips over there. And so I asked him, I said, I forgot his name, but he said, I'd like to do that. He said, would you? Do you want to do it? I said, I would like to. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Why don't you take a short discharge? See, I had to end my tour and start a new tour so I'd have enough years. I had to re-enlist for 3 years. They sent me to Spartan, Keesler Air Force Base, to Air Traffic Control School. And I was an tower operator from that time until I got discharged. And when I got discharged, I went to work for the Indianapolis Center, controlling en route airplanes on radar.
Yeah.
I liked it, but at the meantime, I'd gone to the Spartan School of Aeronautics and got all my ratings. For pilot rating, I wasn't very experienced at flying, but I just had the pilot's license and mechanic's license. But I worked for Lake Central Airlines. So while I was working for them, the air traffic control people came over and asked me if I wanted to go to work at Indianapolis Center to control airplanes. That sounded pretty good. I thought I went over there after about a couple months. I had to go through training and all that to do that. I started, man. I was sitting in there looking at that radar scope and all, and that's all you do for 8 hours. Just,
Right.
I mean, you take breaks, but anyway, I did that for about, just about a year and a half, I guess. I went back over to Exeter Airlines. The people were the same people, but they had merged into Allegheny Airlines. I went over and I talked to my boss. I said, I would like to come back as a mechanic. He said, Harold, no, you're not going to come back as a mechanic. You will come, if you want to come back to Bray, you're going to have to come back and be the same thing you were when you went. Your old job. He says, I want you back in your old job, not just a mechanic. So he hired me back. That went good. Lord, I guess about 10 months later, they shut that facility down. And they sent me back to Pittsburgh. He sent me over to Pittsburgh. That was going to be where they were going to transfer me to. I went over and I saw all that. That was during the smokestack days, Did a lot. In the morning, I got up, I couldn't see anything. And I went back and called the boss. I said, thank you for sending me over here, but I said, I can't do this. I said, I don't like working Pittsburgh. I don't like that smog and stuff. He said, okay. He said, I just thought that you'd go on and work on it. I said, no, I'll find it. So I said, I'll find a job. So I immediately went hunting for a job. And one of the places I went was Horman Field Aviation. Tony Horman, the racing truck driver, he had his airplane there. One of the prettiest C-46s I've ever seen in my life. All shiny and aluminum. So I went over there, took an interview and everything. The guy he says, when you want to come to work? I said, whenever you want me. He said, I want you Monday morning. And he wanted to put me in charge. I was in charge of his shop because his shop manager wasn't handling his shop the way he wanted. I went there, making good, and everything was going good. Lo and behold, Don Berry, Peoria, Illinois, had run into somebody, and they told him about me having experience on DC-3s and stuff like that. He had a DC-3, and he had D-18s hauling freight. He made a special trip down to talk to him. He said, Harold, would you be interested in changing jobs? And I said, well, I'm always interested in growing where I can. He said, well, if you want to, he said, he came down, we interviewed. He says, why don't you let he said, let me come down in a couple of days and fly you up to my facility at Peoria. So he come down and picked me up and he said, I looked at it, pretty decent. It was a freight hauling company. He said, could you work for me? Would you work for me? I said, yeah, I done. I said, I don't know you anything, but you seem to be a pretty good person. He said, I need you. He said, I will move you if you'll come up there. He said, I'll help you find a house to move in. And that's when I got into the other type stuff. And that's a lot. I could sit here and tell you all day all the stories, but this is...
Yeah, we got to get to work.
Huh?
We got to get to work. We got to finish the yard.
Hey, it hasn't been a smooth road, but it has been a good road.
Right. We'll finish this up in